countries that surround Israel. It's a very worthy study, actually. Beware, though, I'll try to get this from some Orthodox Catholic teachers, because this is a nut job topic, too. And you have to be really careful with that. So the peace, the idea of shalom, it's related to the wholeness of our relationship with God and with our neighbors. It has to do very strongly with that first commandment, to love the Lord your God with all your heart and your mind and your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. What I'm proposing then tonight, and we'll have a few minutes for questions if you have any, is this, that in your examination of conscience at the end of the day, try to incorporate, now if the Holy Spirit's convicting you of something that you've done that is sinful, of course you have to acknowledge it, and then you have to ask God's forgiveness, and then you have to try to come and confess this as soon as you can. But we dwell on that way too much. As for most of us, we don't make a whole lot of progress in the spiritual life because we keep falling into the same sins over and over and over and over again. And as a first-class sinner myself, I can assure you that that's true. You know, like cursing at the television when you see a politician you can't stand. And boy, there are a lot of those on there nowadays, both sides of the aisle, you know. Things like that. Instead of asking the truer question, how have I reflected the fruit of the Spirit today? I really would love it if you could take that back to your parishes, and if you have it's always good to have a regular confessor, somebody that you usually go to. But if you are one of the folks that just kind of, whatever line is shorter, you know, you go there, that's okay too. But the idea would be to introduce this idea to the priest. Because this is a great, you know how when you go into a mine, they used to put canaries in cages so that you could tell if there was any noxious gas, because a canary would experience hypoxia, you know, lack of oxygen, much more quickly than humans would. This is like the canary in the coal mine for us. Because if we go day after day and we see, I was really selfish today, I was so selfish today. There's not a sin that says selfish. They're very delineated things. But that's something that will destroy our lives. Bitterness. Bitterness. Something that is distilled one drip at a time. And I will be, probably this week on our website at St. Raymond's, we'll be putting on my two-part homily that I did about what's happening to the world today, and how, in a part of it, it's related to a chemical equation for the manufacture of the bitterest acid that we know of, called picric acid. And I had forgotten, because it's been so many years since I did chemistry, but I love chemistry very much, that this is one of the main ingredients in most explosives. It is the bitterest thing that you can possibly partake in. And it's what we get when we allow that, the heat, the pressure, and others to build up on us. So my prayer would be that we could take this section of the 5th chapter of the letter to the Galatians and walk with that, and let that be our lab test that comes back if we go to confession every 2 weeks or every week or however often, to prepare even what we're going to say, as to say, I really lacked love this week. And don't confuse anger with impatience. Most people say, I'm impatient. No, you're angry. You have to define a thing before you can really help to change it. And remember, impatience always deals with the passage of time. My kid is not cleaning up her room fast enough for me. That's impatience. My kid just dissed me. That's anger. You know? So I hope that even though this has been really truncated, the book's going to be out in about a year. I hope you'll be able to buy a copy of it. But in the meantime, you can contact me at St. Raymond's. And also, if you will do me the greatest honor, if you will consider incorporating Galatians 5 in your examen and also in your confession. So we have any questions?